Howdy and aloha. Welcome to Manatawk. The earth and you are ohana. We hope you stay and talk.
Howdy and aloha, everybody. It's James with Montauk. It is July the 3rd, 2023. It's about 11:49 p.m. All right, so this is interesting. As I was flipping through YouTubes and going through lots of information on social media, blah, 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 I came across a guy, very important person, exposing information that many people have a good idea of, but they just kind of just don't really want to know that that's actually there. And it's pretty obvious that most of the stuff you're seeing out there is a show. And a lot of it's hidden, and a lot of it's props, and a lot of it is pre planned and staged. And what's interesting about this guy is it's like right in your face, which is pretty much everything. And by the way, I want to say happy 4th of July to everybody. I hope you have a wonderful, fantastic, safe, lovely, and all that good stuff. 4th of July, let freedom ring, man, all the way. All right. And I fixed my camera finally where I can get a better kind of picture of what's going on out there. I didn't even know. Anyway, this guy is good at what he does as far as exposing what's behind the curtain, right? You guys get the metaphor, right? Do you guys get the metaphor? So that's basically it. That's all I've been doing. And hundreds of us, maybe probably thousands, but millions of us, have been exposing what's just by doing our own due diligence, chickadee, chickadee, checking ourselves before we wreck ourselves, and doing our own research, reading, observation. One of the biggest one is just paying attention and using your common sense. You obviously there's props and there's the green screen and all that stuff with him, but I just need to kick back and just go. I've been telling you. I've been telling you. Right? I've been telling you what the fuck has been going on for a long fucking time. I've been warning. Right? They're not the conspiracy theories aren't. A conspiracy theory these days is basically a spoiler alert. That's what they are. It's a spoiler alert. You're not being given the information from the mainstream media or your public officials, your legislators, judiciaries, executives, department heads, on the city, state, and federal levels, the truth of everything. It's so it's transparency just is doesn't exist. So that guy, right? He's just exposing while he's eating noodles through his cloth, which was a great little edit himself. You guys didn't notice that, right? Right, he's eating noodles. If you watch it again, you'll see. And he's like slurping up the noodle inside of his mouth, but it's not actually. Anyway, um, that's it. We're they're not going to tell you what's really happening. They're not going to give you the information that's needed so you can better prepare or kick back and have a good life to do the things that you need to do to have a prosperous, good livelihood with your family, your friends, your neighbors, um, your city, town, tribe, whatever society, whatever you're in. And it just continues to come from us, from people like James Corbett, right? People like Ryan Christian, people like Whitney Webb, right? And some other people that dive deep. Pasta with Convo Couch, Fee with Convo Couch. Jimmy's. Some of those guys are. Jimmy's pretty late to the punch, but at least he's got an audience where he can, tell everybody what the fuck's going on if he stays within the community guidelines and says, the vaccine is safe and effective and it will not harm you and it's wonderful and it's the greatest thing on fucking the planet, which I've tried, but doesn't work with me. It's just when you're bringing in money for Google, I guess they give you preferential treatment, right? So I've tried to use that before. It just doesn't work for the little guy. And the algorithms, or as I say, the matrix sentinels, they're flying everywhere and they're always searching, ready to go after. Right? If you've ever seen the Matrix. Um, Going after those keywords when you say like vaccine, Pfizer, on something. It's sad because on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and still Twitter, whether you think so or not, you've got to watch your P's and Q's, which is ridiculous. Because what I have been providing since on visually, since 2014 of my Blog Talk Radio, and when I started the YouTube channel very late 2016, early 2017, it's just observation, and having discussions, coming to conclusions, having my own perspective, right? But that's not allowed, right? I mean, so imagine this guy was banned for exposing that there's a green screen that they've been using, right? I mean, as silly as that sounds, could you imagine? Oh no. So that's interesting, because what if you were to go to one of Zelensky's, um, that's a good idea, right? What if you were to greens to check, and there's a process he does. I want to watch that again because that's not like a good idea. I just kind of just thought of that. Hang on a second now. Watch the noodles. Watch the noodles. Watch how he does this. Just using a drawing pad, the VFX eraser. Goes over. I said, there are little green men every there. That's the green men. When they start talking about aliens and shit, that's it. That's what it's going to be. It's not going to be what you think it is. Sorry, right? If uh, But I think that's a good way to go. I think we should go through every fucking video. I want that guy to do. I could probably anybody could probably do that. But what's interesting is I and millions of others have been doing that a lot. I don't get paid by some big company. I'm not sponsored by anything. I do it because I give a fuck. I care, right? And I know a lot of people out there have Deb Della Piana. God, I hope she's okay. She had some good stuff, but she just got into it with me. I don't know why. It was weird. But then she went full supporting mandates, masks, vaccines, all that stuff. She just fucking just. But her thing, and I think some of you remember her, but her thing was um, she was trying, doing what I'm doing, just exposing a lot of information, right? A lot of information, and a few others. Indy from Independent Outsider used to do that. Jamal used to. A lot of people used to. Graham Elwood used to do that, right? Ron Pacone used to be a little more controversial, right? She doesn't really. And then all of a sudden, Fluvid came, and they all freaking just decided to stop. They just stopped. It's what they stopped doing was questioning authority, which we always should, and its sources at every turn. I've said this fucking for years, maybe a decade now. It's getting on it. Holy shit. It'll be 10 years when I started all this stuff, right? When I started really diving deep, going into the abyss of politics and corporations and our supposed public servants. And I started to realize that they're useless. I've never the deeper I dove into the abyss, which some won't. Graham. God, man, that guy was really disappointing. And Jamal and a few others just could not jump in. They wouldn't even stick their toe in the water. It was pretty freaking um, pathetic. Where they were compromised, and there were a lot of people that were compromised, and have been compromised for a long time. I mean, the word compromise spreads across the planet, right? And that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing Macron in France, if you've been paying attention, is going full dystopian, authoritarian, tyrannical, warp speed, tsunami. That's what he's doing. But he's starting to get what's called backwash. If you've ever seen the surf or if you've ever been in the ocean, the water will flow up to a steep sand incline and then come back and form a wave going backwards towards the other waves, almost like two waves coming at each other directly. And that's what he's going up against. And that backwash, right, or backlash in a sense for a lot of people is getting bigger because people are just saying fuck you. They're just saying fuck you and the horse you rode on, which we know the horse. You have to know the horse by now. If I have to tell you what the horse is, um, then you're probably new to stumbling upon this YouTube channel, which is my eighth. This one right here is my sixth. The seventh and eighth. The seventh is going through a 30-day strike, and the eighth is on the second. But I have them as backup, which is sad. And It's just it's it's criminal what they're doing to our First Amendment rights, which are your natural rights. You should not be limited with your speech at all. You should not be limited with your speech. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, they're really exposing. I'm going to jump through here real quick to kind of show you. Um, just go through the history. I think I was just looking up a few things today. If you see anything weird, just I'm a guy. But anyway, yeah. So why is this still up here? Oh, because that's what. Okay. Yeah, they're exposing all the idiots and all the crazies and stuff that are all over the World Economic Forum, right? There's Soros and Alex Soros and the fucking get the fucking jab person, and then controlled demolition. Duh. She is. It's so extremely obvious. She's brilliant and she does some good work, but I think she's known this for a long time. I haven't really seen that one, but if you go to Rethink 9/11, that's rethink911.org, you're going to see just a plethora of freaking information in regards to Building 7 and all the information. Yeah, it was 9/11 2001 was a complete and total, from my perspective and my conclusions, and from my due diligence and research, has clearly, absolutely proven over and over and over again it was an inside job, right? And I'd like to get this guy that does the green screen stuff to go through a lot of that. That would be interesting if somebody could, you know. Yeah, I had a show last week. 10 views, yay. But there's some other things that are happening here that I thought was interesting because as I'm kind of getting to the CDC planning for zombie apocalypse, you gotta watch this video. We gotta watch this video real quick, right? Uh, this is freaking hilarious. It's probably a
Think
commercial.
you know how potatoes can save your life?
Oh, they
Think
can?
again.
All right.
Power outages are common.
Okay.
The flesh-eating brain.
CFR, CDC
Well, here we go.
exercise for infectious disease and foreign policy. Although international protocols exist to prevent the rapid spread of disease, each country's individual policies, infrastructure, and interests ultimately decide the course of any outbreak, including zombies. So the CFR, CDC, Pentagon, and whichever universities they're referring to, we're not planning for a viral pandemic per se. They were planning a real military response for a fictional threat of a zombie apocalypse, or in order to make people think that a virus would be equal to a zombie apocalypse. So let's get started with the video.
Okay.
Zombies. The flesh-eating, brain-hungry monsters that ravenously attack the world until everyone is infected. Could such a frightening science fiction disaster actually happen? As far-fetched as it seems, according to what we know from lore and canon, zombieism would work the same way as infectious diseases like SARS, Ebola, and the flu. Once a person gets infected, they pass it from person to person via close contact.
So they're comparing SARS, Ebola, and the flu with zombieism. First of all, those are all very different viruses. The flu is a seasonal respiratory virus that everyone has had many times. And the treatment, as, I don't know, any parent knows, or anybody in general, is rest and fluids. You get the flu, you stay home until you're better.
Right.
And Ebola, right? Ebola is not contracted the same way. You don't. It's not the aerosol. Okay, so let's keep going.
Okay.
As with any newly emerging
She's so
pathogen,
cute.
the search for a cure would be complicated, since its origins would likely be a mystery.
So of course they'll need a pharmaceutical product supposedly to combat this disease, which is of unknown origin. to this day, right? Starting to sound familiar. Does this sound familiar to what's been going on
Yes.
and what has gripped the media for, I don't know, the last 3 years to this very day?
Yes, absolutely.
Such a devastating scenario is growing larger. People are building homes in new areas, living and working near unknown insects and animals, which can carry new unknown diseases, increasing the chances of a deadly outbreak that could possibly spread around the world.
Yeah, so basically, what your ancestors for thousands or hundreds of thousands or maybe even millions of years have been doing forever. For fuck's sakes. It. What did I put in Facebook on this one? I wrote something. I better stay on point on this because I was fucking just like, when I saw this, I was like, there it is. I told you. I fucking told you. I fucking told you. Oh, here it is, right here. Yeah. So this, it's just, this pretty much nails what they're doing and what they've been doing, and how it's just, people just soak this shit up, man. It's just amazing to me how many people out there. All right, and here they're talking about it right here. I just kind of posted it. But it's very simple. How many times have I mentioned the CFR, the Council on Foreign Relations? If you've been watching this or any of mine, I think I brought those guys up for the past 3 years once or twice or three times in each one of my videos, YouTube videos, right? Whether it's on Odyssey, which all this stuff goes to Odyssey, by the way. If I push the limits on what's going on, which I kind of have gauged now, I've been fucking ripped from the internet, so many fucking times, you kind of get a feeling of what they want and what they don't want, which is sad and totally against our First Amendment rights. And there's actually a group, and we're creating a group to sue a class action. We're in the process of going after YouTube, which is an American company. That's all you need to know. You can't sue TikTok. Is anybody going to ever fucking sue TikTok? No. You'd have to have a bazillion dollars to fucking sue TikTok because they're somewhere else. But if you're an American-based company, you need to follow the Constitution by law, and that's not happening. But anyway, how many times have I mentioned the CFR in the past 3 years? So this little video and this little stunt and the thing they created this outlandish horror video or parody to the after effects of their own genocidal bioweapons. You're not going to get this as you just saw that. You're not going to get anything from being in the only thing you're going to get from being in the outdoors, whether it's an insect or a spider bite or whatever, is a stronger immune system. That's what you're going to get from being in the fucking woods, from being out in the ocean, from being out in the lake, right? From living, from your body's building, not just physically, not just be due to the area and the things around you and how to react, how to do things. Right? We're also seeing that what's created more skin cancer has actually been some protective factor letmate, which has been the biggest cause now, which is the sunscreen that they told everybody to take. Right? So and the crap you spray on to keep you from getting like radon or something off. I don't fucking know. But the thing that we used to spray when I lived in West Virginia, some little bottle. I forgot it'll come to me though. But that stuff is fucking poison. Right? It's freaking poison. There are so many natural remedies, so many natural solutions, completely organic, whether there's some an oil from a root or or from a tree or from a leaf, or that fucking mosquitoes hate and don't want to be around, right? I think cinnamon's one. I don't know, but anyway, and there's things out there that have been used for the beginning of fucking time, for the beginning of time. But let me read the rest of this. They created this outlandish horror video parody to the after effects of their own genocidal bioweapon, which we know what that is, right? You guys know what that is. Everybody knows what the genocidal bioweapon is. Oh, be it the Ursine or Fluvid-19, either or, right? They're both created by our tax dollars. It's like we've been killing ourselves for. I'm not. I could go into all that, but I'm not gonna. We are at our own government for a long time has been methodically and painstakingly been trying to murder us methodically, because they know, excuse me, they're instructed to do certain things by their advertisers, their donors, their mainstream media, etc. And a healthy, vibrant, non-vaccinated child actually has a better chance at being completely and thoroughly. And the Amish have proved this over and over again, because they're not poisoned. They don't have any of the poison, the processed scientific crap that has been being pushed out there for decades. They don't have it. Their children are pure. It's like, I want to say I'm a purebred because I'm not taking the fucking genocidal bioweapon. I never will. And I fucking got something here that'll help me if they fucking come to my door. Right? And that's my God-given constitutional right to protect myself. Right? But the thing is, they're not. They've been doing this to the population, not just to the United States or Canada. Right? Their influence, their money has totally manipulated, compromised. Not just, the military industrial complex and the big pharma are kind of hand in hand. They're hand in hand, right? They need each other. Who goes into that the best? I think Ryan Christian did a piece on that. G. Edward Griffin, by the way, is another good source. Ike is a little. He's spot on a lot of. David Ike is spot on a lot of stuff, but he gets into this lizard crap, and when you start getting into the lizard crap and the flat Earth shit, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to fucking talk to you, right? It's just ridiculous. I don't care. Whatever. I mean, you can come out and have a conversation, but when you start going that direction, I'm gonna say, what, just don't put that shit on my channel. I don't want to. It's just ridiculous. The moon thing, I'm a little concerned about still. Right? The moon landing, 9/11, we know that was an inside job. But anyway, I'm getting off track. So they created this outlandish horror video of a parody to all after the effects of their own genocidal biome, be it the vaccine or Fluvid-19, to justify a third wave of murdering the population. This is to justify that people will need to be eventually exterminated because they can't help them anymore. This is the third wave. The first wave, right, was Fluvid-19. The second wave was the Revolt, right? And the third wave will be, there's no way we can help you. You're done, right? And let me show you this ad. This is how this is going to go down. And remember, I fucking told you, because I've been fucking alerting a lot of people for a long fucking time, and it's just amazing that nobody. This is the important part, right? So pay attention. Oh, what's this? What the flip? Right? Star actress dies after assisted suicide. She had assisted suicide because her illnesses were so bad from these boosters. They were so bad. So she said, you know what, I just don't want, that's it. You know, so you're gonna off yourself. And this is really the saddest part, right? And this is the lady we're talking about, is this girl right here. You guys know who these people are, right? Who doesn't know who that is? Katrina Pevalik. She's been in fucking everything. She's been in Marvel. She's been in Netflix. She's been in fucking movies, right? Now look at that. She has myalgic encephalomyelitis, chronic fatigue syndrome, shortly after receiving her booster last year. Fucking A, man. Fucking A. You know, and this is nowhere to be seen on mainstream media, and this is pushing it right here. I'm pushing the buttons right now of the community guideline ministry of truth out there. I'm pushing it for sure. This is everywhere. That's not just one person, right? Deion Sanders, just doing great. His fucking toes got amputated, right? Jamie Foxx, all of a sudden, I mean, this guy was in top fucking. I mean, and those are celebrities and sports figure celebrities and shit. But there's millions and millions of people, not just hundreds of thousands of people, not just a few thousand people, not just a few hundred, right? Let me give you an example. So the Pinto the Ford Pinto had a gas tank that was exploding when they got rear-ended. A few people died. Guess what they did with the Pinto? They pulled it. They stopped it. That was it. In the transportation vehicle car industry, they completely said, we can't have this. Right? But as far as something that has complete indemnity, which is not liable, many people decided to still buy this car. Right? We're talking about this car right here. Right? Which is fucking amazing. It amazing in the most profoundly ludicrous and idiotic thing that I've ever seen in my life. And it was fear that drove you there. Right? So if you watch this video here of this apocalypse crap, right? Let me see what else they got here. Let me just see if they go through the rest of it. Right here. How has our urban world made pandemics more likely? Gavi. Who owns Gavi? Bill fucking Gates. Right?
Gavi.
Bill fucking Gates. What's this right here?
Such a disease wouldn't adhere to borders or politics.
Okay, so such a disease, such a virus.
Yeah, He's gonna pretty much say what I'm saying. It's just, but look at the show they put, the cartoon, the whole fucking thing is just amazing, right?
Right. Clearly.
It would require international coordination and decisive action. All countries are legally bound to survey and monitor for disease within their borders. But many poorer countries simply don't have the infrastructure. And depending on where a zombie case was identified, the reaction could be very slow.
A zombie case. People are fucking eating this shit up. People are literally will eat that shit up. They'll want seconds. I am not kidding you. I am not kidding you. Why is the top of this so fucked up? Hang on. Burp. Oh wait, crop left. No, not that one. Top. Yeah. Yeah, it's freaking nuts. That's freaking nuts, man. It's and people will just eat up that cartoon. They'll eat that up. They'll just fucking eat that shit up. And it's amazing how, not to upset everybody, but you may not even realize it. You may not even realize it. And it's hard for people to and I'm talking, you could be a lawyer, you could be an engineer, you could be a doctor, you could be, a world-renowned scientist. A lot of people have become meek, malleable, easily molded, right? And it's the music, the guys who are enunciating everything. It's brilliant marketing. A lot of people will say Dr. Shiva is brilliant, but he really needs to understand the marketing aspect. If you know who Dr. Shiva is, he's brilliant. He's a intellectual being. I don't know. I think that guy's a fucking alien. Anyway, because he's just super smart. But there's pieces people miss. So the biggest piece that I've always told everybody is that a lot of people, it's hard for people to see past the marketing, the advertising, the branding, the logo, impressions. Impressions has a lot to do with over and over the over and over and over again theory that and it's 21 times. Studies have shown that if you say something not too long, 21 times, you have a greater chance of remembering it for a longer duration of time, completely. Which is interesting. That's an interesting number. For most people, some people might have to say it to themselves 100 times. I was that guy in school. I said, I get distracted easily. My mind's, I'm a hunter-gatherer. Hunter-gatherer. Yeah, so we're not. If you've ever bought a new car and went out shopping, and I know you've heard this before over and over, because I want people to understand that a lot of people go out, and I used to sell cars, and I was really good at selling cars, because I would just show them the numbers and just be honest. Here's the way it works. This is what's going on. You can take my offer, or I can go back and try to get you a better deal. Right? And they go, oh, okay, well, what is the better deal? I go, it's not a foot and mouth. There's a reason why I said that. Because then I would come back with the better deal, but that's not the better deal. And some people say, that's the better deal. That's a great deal. And so then, sure it is, but it was. They just became a laydown. Anyway, there's a whole process. Car sales is not transparent, and that's the way you guys are being worked. The entire government, these giant industries, big oil, big nuclear, big pharma, big war machine, military industrial complex, they're working you like you're trying to buy a car every fucking day. The marketing is in print. They hit you with what's called it's like a mass marketing campaigns, right? They're called direct marketing. Direct marketing is where a corporation or company, whether it's a plumbing company or it's a car dealership, will ask an advertiser or somebody who's in publishing or somebody that can print out or flyers, whether it's envelopes, flyers, or whatever the case may be, to send out to a particular demographic, and they'll do what's called a soft pull. Okay, they can't do a hard pull on your credit, and people don't realize this, but you're targeted. When you're getting stuff in the mail, you're targeted. When you're seeing stuff on commercials, you're being targeted. It's called a targeted demographic, and I think this is where a lot of people don't understand is everybody's the targeted demographic, and they've got more information on you than you could ever imagine. They had a lot back in 1999, 98, 93, right when I started doing my I was making good money in direct marketing. It's because they would send out to this demographic within a 5 or 10 or 15 mile radius, depending on where. There's some radiuses are bigger because they're more rural, and they would try to hit a dealership. Let's just take, for example, a dealership. A dealership would ask a direct marketing company that has the ability to do a soft pull. By law, it's okay to get certain FICO scores. Okay, certain Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion FICO scores. They'd go either off all three or one or the other. TransUnion, I believe, was usually used for the car industry mostly. Experian was I think was for lending mostly, for mortgage. Anyway, so they would do the soft pull, and they would get, they would go after a certain age, so they'd have to say, over 18, income at least. Which is, it's out there, by the way, that information is out there. Somewhere you filled out and put in some information regarding, do you make 30 to 40,000, or do you make 50 to 60,000? Do you make over $200,000, whatever a year? And so they pull your FICO score. So we would pull usually 550 and above. It actually went down back in 2000, in 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, when money was big for lenders. If you were a writer, if you were writing loans, I forgot that, it'll come to me. But anyway, if you were an officer, a loan officer, right? You were fucking making bank. Because the FICO scores they were pulling back there was like 420, 410, and the requirement for work was like nothing. They were going after people in shopping carts and tents on the road. They didn't fucking care. I actually heard our bank, Consumer Portfolio Services, back when I worked for them, and who else was it? Triad. And a couple other companies that I work with. These are banks, right? These are auto finance lending companies. There's bazillions of them. They would actually tell their finance managers at these dealerships to go get somebody off the fucking street. We'll put them in a car, knowing that they may not even have a job or kind of a job or not. Their credit or their background on their credit or their history of their credit. Just, they didn't care, which was all set up by, this was all by design. But anyway, Moody, I'm not going to get into all that. But here's the thing. They continually do this to you. They know how to target you. So when you get these mailers, either by print, or they do it by or they do it by commercial radio. Advertisers will pay for radio. You heard how many times have you heard? I mean, when I got here to Missouri, I was listening to a radio station. Definitely had hip hop on it. Definitely had some rap and some new, you know, some of the newest performers out there. Artists and all that. And then all of a sudden, if you haven't gotten your COVID vaccine, you need to go get one immediately. Right? Brought to you by Pfizer. Brought to you by Moderna. Brought to you by CBS. Brought to you by whatever pharmaceutical fucking related company. Health and Human Services was putting this shit, still putting this shit out. Right? They target you. It's you've been a target market for a long time. And the biggest thing that you're going to hear from me in regards to what's been happening that I've kind of unfolded for a long time is they've been methodically trying to kill you. Because as I've said for a long effing time, okay, for a long ass effing time, is the pharmaceutical, big hospital, big elderly care industry. Those are industries. They're not just like little things, right? They don't make money off of healthy people. They don't make money off of people that are not in the process of dying or ill or sick or constantly sick. They want people that are completely sick or always sick, so they can continue to corral our tax dollars. And we've sent trillions to these industries within the past few years. People don't even realize that. In different ways, shapes, or big hospital, whether it's a big pharma, big elderly care, the production companies, the manufacturing companies, everybody's gotten a piece. The people that support it, the associated NGOs and associated departments that will get their money, and it all goes out. They target you, right? And that's what's fucking happened. And everybody, and you're a victim. You're a victim. You're what they call in the car industry as a laydown. You decided to fucking take the first deal. You took the first deal. You didn't, or the second deal. You didn't go back and try to work the sales manager at the tower in the car dealership to try to get a better deal. You just said, you know what? Because they'll use the fear tactic. Well, you know what? This is the last one. I do have somebody that's coming in at 3 today. I know you're here now, but he's here to look at it. I kind of went over his stuff. His stuff is similar to you in regards to credit and everything like that. I mean, you do like the car, don't you? Yeah. I mean, who doesn't like a fucking new car? Who doesn't? This is shit you won't hear at the dealership. Who doesn't like a new car? Yeah, so you brought in your old car that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, whatever years old, and that car just definitely doesn't smell, definitely doesn't move, definitely, very, in most cases, is not going to drive like that plush, brand new, freaking fresh smelling car. It's just not going to happen. So there's appeal factors in cars too. The way they design them aren't even ergonomically completely correct, but it's there to make it seem like you're getting more. There's a design about that. Oh God, it's just amazing. It's amazing how people are being worked constantly every fucking day. It's just crazy. And I expose that. I've been talking about that forever. And that's something I believe Dr. Shiva and a lot of people just need to really start talking about, is how they fucking sold you down the river regarding COVID-19. And then into the genocidal bioweapon that they're still fucking putting out there to destroy your lineage, for your just all kinds of crap. I mean, let's just cut to the chase. Let's just cut to the chase. All right, and then I'm gonna get going. Bottom line, the bottom line is the three things I've been talking about, right? And the three things I've been talking about is they want to reduce the population. Okay, right? And we're talking about this the CFR and the WEFs and the Chatham House and the Vanguards and the Fidelities and the State Streets and the Black Rocks and and all this. That's their goal. They don't need your money anymore. Everybody thinks because once they go digital currency, who controls that? So let me give you an example of that. We're going to use my system of currency. It's going to be digital, but I'm the person that's going to monitor it, regulate it, and have full control over it. And all you other 100 people out there have to trust me with that. Right? I know you didn't elect me. You didn't all raise your hand in favor. There was no democratic process. There was no republic process. There was no, I just decided that this is the way it's got to be because you're scared and you need me to do it because I've put you in the corner in fear and pressure, and I've bombarded you with fucking advertising like a motherfucker, and now you guys are like, let's go ahead and do it, man. Yeah, well, what happens is then I control who's going to get paid, who's not going to get paid. If you don't do what I want or need, you're not going to get the money that's going to help you. Right? So that's the biggest play. They're so fucking rich right now. They really don't need any more of your money. If you have $1 billion in your bank account right now, you can live off the interest for the rest of your life and own a 100-foot yacht and a condo in Hawaii and a fucking 10-acre ranch in Missouri with a 10,000 square foot 3-car garage. No problem. No problem. Easily. Just off the interest alone. But these are multi-billionaire people, right? Some of these people just keep fucking with us and keep playing with us and keep toying with us because it's just fun to do for them. That's their mentality. It's just fun. And, when Madeleine Albright said in her interview on 60 Minutes, I forgot what the lady's name was that did the interview back in the 90s, right? Do you think it's worth it that we, had to murder, kill, maim, destroy, completely annihilate 500,000 families, women, children? That's what she said, women and children. Do you think it's worth the sacrifice? Collateral damage? And she said yes. Madeleine Albright said yes. And you know who? There's a lot of Democrats and a few Republicans that really liked Madeleine Albright. The predecessor or the spawning child of Madeleine Albright was Hillary Clinton. Look it up. They were like two peas in a pod. It's kind of like and then Hillary Clinton. You had AOC, not AOC, but Nancy Pelosi. And then Nancy Pelosi, you have AOC, right? And whoever else wants to step up to the plate and be a disgusting pig, just a disgusting, monstrous pig, right? And they're out there. They're fucking out there. But this is the kind of mentality that you're looking at. They just don't care anymore. They don't give a shit about you. They're actually the CBDC or central bank digital currency, aka FedNow. Yellen right now is going out. She's maybe even there already talking to China. Either she's trying to reel them back into the dollar, or she's trying to get them to jump aboard their FedNow CBDC process, which I don't think Chinese want to have anything to do with it because they have their own fucking thing. They have their own system. They want to do their own thing. They're doing BRICS, right? And Russia's along with it. And I don't think she's going to I don't think she'll be able to reel it back in. You know, once you gave up that power, once you unfolded your cards and you decided to go with the World Economic Forum and all these actual Nazis of the World Economic Forum, these white supremacist, predatory, pedophile, molesting children people that are all connected to the World Economic Forum, and I can fucking prove it, and Whitney Webb can fucking prove it, because they're all completely and thoroughly tied to the biggest known child trafficking fucking syndicate in the world, Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah. Killing you and reducing the population is what they want to do. They want to hoard it all for themselves as well. So they don't need your money anymore. They don't. If you think this is all about profit, that's a good perk, right? But like I said, you could live off $1 billion comfortably for the rest of your fucking life, or $100 million, $10 million. If you had $10 million, I don't know. Let's just do the math in my head. You know, that's like fucking $100,000 a year. I think in interest. It's not bad, right? I'm just telling you. Once like the example I was giving. So once I have all this money, and I want this planet to be for myself. This is the mentality now. You have to kind of put yourself in their talons, because they don't wear shoes. They're fucking monstrous creatures, right? They're the predator class. I don't want to say the word elite. Well, I already did. To classify them, because they're not. They're just the predator class. They prey on everything. They destroy everything. They create chaos and mayhem and death and destruction, and now they're fucking on steroids. And it started early 2020. Upon you. That's when it started, upon you. But this process has been reeling up for a long time. Again, G. Edward Griffin. He's in the movie Pandemic, right? He's in that movie. Was it number 2? I think it was number 2. But like I said, 3 things: world central banking, right? Mass the population, because it's easier to control a 500 million than it is to control 7-8 billion people, which is their goal, and then hoard everything for themselves, create their own, prisons or concentration camps, which is the 15-minute city mentality. Right? Trump said, "Oh, they're freedom cities. He's going to create freedom." What the fuck? Are you fucking idiot? A freedom city? There's no such thing. A freedom city is the fucking planet. That's the freedom city. It should be the planet. I would like to go wherever I want, whenever I want, across the goddamn fucking planet. $200 ago, if you had a helicopter 200 years ago that could fly, or a plane, probably helicopters, because there's no runways, right? So if you had a helicopter that had endless supply of fuel, you could go anywhere and everywhere you went. You weren't hitting any borders, you weren't invading anything, right? You'd probably piss off a few people or startle a bunch of fucking people, right? You freak them out, but what I'm saying is, you were free to go wherever you wanted to fucking go. Even in like a heavily civilized nation or country, you could walk in as an outsider. They wouldn't fucking bat it. They wouldn't even know. as long as you kind of dress the same and didn't open your fucking mouth and saying, "Hey everybody, how you doing?" Yeah. But you could go anywhere you wanted to. Now there's borders. And I understand people are trying to protect themselves, but the people that started all this, that have been creating wars, they've created the division, they've created the hate, they've fueled and made more money for themselves because of their advertising. They want the world for themselves. Period. That's where they're at right now. That's it. They're hoarding the planet. They're massively depopulating it at a fucking pace that is crazy right now. It's just an amazing pace, right? It's gone up just tremendously. And then they want to control you, the mass social control. So anybody that's left over, you're going to be the slave of slaves. You will be the slave of slaves. Massive slavery. 15 minutes in. You will do and go where we say. You will not do everything. And this is not in any way, shape, or form a conspiracy theory anymore. They talk about it. They brag about it. People are like promoting it. I'm seeing a news channel go, "Oh, it'll just be a 15-minute city and we'll be able to have everything 10 minutes here and 5 minutes there, and we can ride our fucking electrical bikes and but if you want to go outside the city, you got to get permission. You have to make sure you're not using your gas stove. You have to make sure you're not driving your fucking diesel truck." And that bullshit. And that fucking bullshit. Right? And this is their mentality. Their mentality is they don't need you anymore. They're hoarding the planet, right? And that this is their goal. And these people are all a bunch of fucking mass predators. Right? The hive that Shiva talks about, the swarm anyway, a swarm of birds, swarm of whatever. They all run together. They hang out together. They play golf together. They go on their yachts together. I mean, Obama and fucking Michael were just on a goddamn cruise ship at the same time. Like, not a cruise ship, but this giant 150-foot mega yacht, saying, "Oh, affirmative action just screwed the poor people." It's like, why you're fucking, with your fake children on your fucking mega yacht. Anybody ever seen... I'm just wondering, has anybody ever seen Michelle Obama? Let me see. Has anybody, or does anybody have at all pictures of Michelle? Not pictures. Let's just go with a full-length video, like maybe 50, 60 seconds, 2 minutes of her moving around in yoga pants. Anybody? Has anybody seen a short video of Michelle Obama in yoga pants moving around? Has anybody... And they're still waiting for somebody to produce a picture of her pregnant. That's nowhere. It's nowhere. There's... The bounty went up to like $100,000. It was like $10,000 a few years ago. People are adding money to it. I'll pitch in another $5,000 or $10,000. Nobody. She doesn't have pictures. Who doesn't have pictures of when you're pregnant? What mother on this fucking planet in the 21st century does not have a picture? Well, if you're Amish, I get it. But who? Right? Man, these people are just... and they're all together. Do not believe that somebody's going to come fucking save you, because it might be too late. And I'm gonna completely and thoroughly hold that against everybody. Right? You've got to get out there, and you've got to freaking protest, and you've got to start making a sign. You got to start, Horton Hears a Who. right? Horton Hears a Who was brilliant. Do you know why Horton Hears a Who was brilliant? I'm going to tell you why Horton Hears a Who was brilliant. Because Horton Hears a Who. Why isn't this working? Oh, wait. Oh, it's there. Okay, let me see. I guess I won't pull it up. Hey, it's in the background. Why? That's strange. What the fuck is going on here? Oh. Oh, okay. So I got two windows. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's kind of good to have, Jim. That's good to have. I like that. So where should I put that? Let's put it over here. All right. So this is stopthewef.org. It's basically a metaphor, right? I know it's not just the World Economic Forum. Like fucking A, duh, right? It's a lot of these predator class psychopaths, just the craziest pieces of shit on the planet, and that's it. So fthewf.org or DIYliberty.org or stopthewef.org is where you need to go. Stop, dismantle, remove the World Economic Forum, their agendas, and associates, right? And their associates. I'm trying to keep it simple here, right? I'm just trying to keep it simple so people will kind of understand it. Your individual rights are above all. Do what you can to protect them, right? And I think it says protest. Protest now. Yeah, not. Don't get a bunch of. You don't have to, meet up with people. This is the crazy thing about this is I know you want to have get a bunch of people. That's fine. That's fine if you want you and Mary and Flo and Bob and Kurt or whoever you guys want to get out there and you want to meet up and you want to go protest. I think that's a great idea, right? But once you say that you're there from a website or you're there from a party or you're there from a group or an NGO or a nonprofit or whatever the case may be, right? Once you're there and you've labeled that an entity or a group, so somebody else could come in and say, oh, I'm with the same one. But they're really not. But they're really not. And they could start causing havoc or instigating violence, physical, verbal, just whatever, and make you look like shit. Meaning that by you associating yourself with other people, and this is fucking important, and a lot of people don't get this, you're losing your inalienable individual rights. And God, this is so hard for people to get. This is extremely hard for people to get because they think, well, we're stronger in unity. Of course you are. There's nothing wrong with all you going out there, but individually you decided to go out, as myself, knowing that what criminal, terroristic, disgusting, heinous, chaotic makers of death and destruction, the World Economic Forum and their predator class associates, I've decided to come out and protest against them and everyone else that's on this fucking CEI, ESG, depopulation, CBDC crap. That's not going to work for me. I'm here with my own inalienable individual rights. Now, I don't know why these people are here. Maybe they're joining in on the same thing because they realize the same thing. Now stop. What that just did, which a lot of people don't realize, is it took away the liability. If somebody messes or screws up or destroys your group, it's not connected to you. I wonder what kind of people do the same thing. But let me go back a little bit. Or you can't be liable to them either. You're doing it individual. I'm here on my own individual rights with my own research. The World Economic Forum and all their unelected officials are the cancer of this planet, and we want them gone. That's it. That was perfect. Somebody saved that because that's perfect. That's it. That's the reason why I'm here. And that cameraman will go to the next person. They're looking for that reporter, so-called journalist. They're looking for somebody to freaking as long as they can find a fucking group, they can take it down. I'm telling you. But there's a group of people that do the same thing, but they do it individually. They use trust funds. They use corporations. They use LLCs. They use NGOs to protect themselves constantly. Every child that gets out of high school should create their own LLC. Right? I'm trying to remember which one. Like a retail. They should create their own LLC. Like right there. You know what I got for you for your birthday? Because you're 18 now. An LLC. It's called Ryan's Stuff. Right? And you can, and then you're protected. And you can, because the way the laws work for corporations are constantly, and that's what they do. And that they're individually protected by, and they do the same thing. So if we were to go out there, and you're not liable to anybody else around you, and they're not liable to you in any way if they do anything stupid or you do anything stupid, they can't place that on you. The fucking predator class uses that every single day, all fucking week, and twice on Sundays. This is how they operate. And if you decided to do the same thing, but 1 million of you went out, or 1 billion of you went out, they couldn't touch you. They can't touch you. What is this movement? We hate the World Economic Forum. We want them gone. And all their fucking unelected officials, we want them in jail. That's it. I'm individually doing this myself. Well, who are these people with you? I don't know. Bob thinks the same way, I guess. Mary, yeah. I guess she thinks the same way. And they'll label whatever they want to. Fuck them. But they can't touch you. They really can't. They can't say, this movement, this Tea Party movement, this fucking Occupy movement, this BLM movement is becoming this and that, this QAnon movement, this Antifa movement. This is how the labels, the predator class laughs at you for fucking not getting this. But now you do. So everybody get out. Go find a corner, wave your fucking banner, and say, stop the World Economic Forum. Or no, however you want to do it, but do your thing out there to make sure that the predator class needs to be removed. The predator class needs to be removed. However you want to state it, right? The way I'm going to do it, and you can make your own website, whatever you want to do. I'm going to say no to the predator class. And if you don't understand that, then it'll be in small writing right below there. CEI, military industrial, just a few things. Big pharma, say no to mandates, say no to masking, all that other shit, right? That's it. Yeah, I'm still waiting for somebody to use this process, right? I'm still waiting for somebody to use this process because everybody else out there is using, I think Shiva's a brilliant man, but truth, freedom, health is going to get compromised. Somebody's going to fuck that up. Sorry, bro. They all do. Just give people their individual power. Like I said, you've had that for bazillions of years. When you're born, you have individual rights to speak freely. Nobody's covering your mouth. Right? I mean, it's pretty simple. Pretty simple. Anyway, what are we on now? About an hour and a half? Holy mackerel. Anyway, go here. If you need some help, kind of understanding the protest, and you can do it just by you know, you can do it outside. Just do a picture of you and a fucking sign. But there's it kind of gives the places of where I would go. This is just my recommendations where I would go. Yeah, I would go to the major media corporations. I would go to a public place. And here's the cool thing about this: when you're protesting as an individual, you don't need it. Most states and counties, right? If you're just one person and if you're there not loitering in one place for too long, you can protest. You don't need to get a permit. What group are you having? Oh, I'm going to have 150 people. We're coming out there, right? So there it is. But if you're just out there by yourself, I'm just out here by myself. I don't like the World Economic Forum, and I think they're a bunch of criminals, and anybody associated with them are a bunch of fucking criminals. And they need to be dismantled, removed, and all their buddies, anybody that likes them or with them, supports them. That's it. It's important. If you do it the right way, then you got to see how that works. You've got to understand how that works. And it's still hard for a lot of people. Are you kidding? So I'm gonna go out there and yeah. That's yeah. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah. When you're out, and hopefully we'll get out. I am urging everybody. If you want this craziness to stop, you gotta DIY, man. DIY liberty. You gotta do it yourself. You know, my grandmother always said, and I think my mom told me to, my grandfather, my dad, you know, but my grandmother mostly. If you want something right done, Jimmy, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. Who hasn't heard that? And that's probably the most powerful thing I've ever heard in my life. You know, if you want it the way you want it, if you want it done the way you want it done, you got to do it yourself. You know, my grandfather always told me, you know, properly applied knowledge is power, is true power. You can be the smartest fucker in the room, but if you don't get up and do something with it, you're useless. Right? No, I'm not a genius, Jordan Peterson, who just shit on people that had 83 Mensa scores, which is still being debated as an actual IQ. Is still being debated as an actual source of how to judge somebody's IQ. But Jordan Peterson just shit on everybody and said, if you're at 83, below 83, you should not be making decisions across the planet. I think he just shit on himself. Yeah, pretty bad. You know, there's a lot of people out there that make great, common sense, wonderful, intelligent, caring decisions. You know, they think about everybody, not themselves, when they do things or make decisions. You know, how will my decision not just affect myself, but others that I love and people around me and my neighbors and my city and my county and my state and stuff like that, my country. But anyway, a lot of people don't think like that, and they have 160 IQs. So Jordan Peterson, I think you're fucking wacky, dude. At a certain point, you're just kind of a crazy fuck, you know, at a certain point. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If anybody gets this video, just letting you know, I'm trying. There's a real serious tsunami force of from my perspective, evil that's out there that really needs to be dismantled, stopped, removed, just completely, and it's all associated with the World Economic Forum. I want to thank you, mahalo nui loha, thank you very much, and thank you for watching Monotalk. Aloha, guys.